And it's a good start for David Coulthard, a good start for Mika Häkkinen. Jeff Villeneuve streaking up on the left-hand side. Schumacher darting about behind Mika Häkkinen, and Villeneuve is already up to fourth position. Good start in the Williams from sixth on the grid.
And a good start from everybody here on the Formula One show with Fabio and Simos. How are you doing, Fabio? Are you still with us, Ferrari?
Yeah, I'm still here. Alive and kicking.
For another season. Another season we're together. Okay.
Yeah.
So welcome everybody. And all no viewers, welcome all of you. And it was another interesting race. Bahrain, not a spectacular circuit, but some people seem to have liked it. What about you, Fabio? Did you like it?
I love the circuit, actually. I never thought I would say that of a circuit from Tilke, but it seemed to be that I don't know if it's because it was wide or because there was some strange trajectories, but it seems to be that a lot of people were able to actually make different lines in different parts of the circuits. So yeah, it was interesting to see. Yeah.
Good, excellent. And I suppose we should start the program by saying, our condolences to Francesco. I hope Francesco's all right. Presumably, you live in Italy, so you probably know him personally.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's my third cousin. No, I'm kidding. That was fucking terrible. I hope he's okay. He broke his leg in two parts. I think it's going to be okay. But still, it was quite dramatic. And there was something wrong going on there. But I think we'll talk about it a little bit later when we try to explain how the actual mechanism of changing the tires, works. When the light becomes green and stuff like that. There was something strange going on, which I actually did not understand fully. So, yeah.
Okay, good. Well, we hope he's all right. And, that's obviously put a huge downer on the event for myself. But nonetheless, what did you think of the race so far?
I kind of liked the race. There were some things which were totally unexpected. Besides the results, we'll talk about the results in miles. But what happened behind, the first three ones was really interesting. Gasly fourth. That came out of nowhere.
Absolutely.
Ericsson too on the Sauber was pretty amazing. It was good. Alonso did a good race. Good overtakes. Hülkenberg was fantastic. It was really funny. It was indeed really funny. I was sorry for the Red Bulls. Crash Verstappen seems to be is back with us after that. Yeah.
I was surprised because if anybody was going to drive into another driver, I would have thought it would have been Vettel. But no, this time it was Verstappen.
Yeah. And to be fair, it was also unlucky because the way he punctured the rear tire, it was really funny because, I think since last year they had some kind of side pods on the front wing just to avoid, pinching the tires. And I don't know how it happened because it seems to be that his rear tire actually got in contact with the front wing of Hamilton, which was very lucky, he had no damage. But he got in contact with a part that supposedly it was protected by those, barge protection, but that they didn't work. So yeah, I think there was a little bit of bad luck on his part, but hey, those are races. So,
well, hopefully Verstappen will learn from this. You can't go putting your rear wheels in front somebody's front wing, and that means avoiding them and giving them room. Yeah. Which of course are the rules these days. In the old days, you could force a driver off the track like that on the outside perfectly legitimately.
Yeah,
but not under the new rules.
Yeah, I just want to say that I don't think that it was a really okay. Let me say I don't think it was the usual Verstappen. There was a little bit of coincidence going on. They found Alonso, so they all moved on the right. There was kind of a little bit of a situation. It wasn't Verstappen going, full throttle into somebody's car and, hoping that the other guy, gets out of the way. So there was that. But still, it's Verstappen. So.
It's Verstappen. And, I've been calling this for a little while now, so I'm not surprised. But nonetheless, moving on anyway. Ricciardo, unluckiest man on the day, really.
Right. Ricciardo had really high expectations. He was aiming for a podium. I mean, it was actually aiming to win the race. But I don't know what happened to the car. It just shut down. I don't know. Have you seen the cockpit camera? It just blacked out. Nothing on the steering wheel. Yeah.
That's basically it. Something's come unplugged. Yes.
My son said, probably the key, the ignition key.
Key fell out.
Yeah, the key fell out. Well, it not only fell out, but it broke into the hole. So it couldn't restart it. Yeah,
indeed.
Too bad. Poor guy. I mean, I love the guy. I really think he's bloody amazing and he's consistent as fuck. But that was really bad luck on him. Yeah,
absolutely. I had to. As a side note, I had to watch the Channel 4 coverage, which is David Coulthard and Mark Webber. And I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird when I see those two on screen together because they're trying to alpha each other almost, It's very bizarre couple when you see them. And and it's they got mega excited about certain things, which just didn't seem to me in place. Afterwards they were saying what a great race this was for Formula One, and I personally, I just found it boring. I really did. I didn't think Vettel was going to run out of tires. I didn't think that Bottas was going to catch him. And pretty much that's how it went down.
I mean, I don't agree with you. I think that, I was the last 10 laps, I couldn't sit in the couch because I knew that the tires were trashed. I was looking at the times. So we have Sky around here, and there is you can set up in a way that you got 4 split screens. And on the last 10 laps, I was constantly looking at the time. And it was quite in your face that Vettel was driving slower than Alonso. He couldn't catch Alonso, so it was really in big problems.
Sure.
So yeah.
Do you know what lap times was he doing at the end there? Were they 136s or 135s?
I think it was 35 high.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay.
It was never going. I think it was never going 34s. So probably a 34 high or stuff like that. 1 or 2 times. But it was constantly losing. Sure. With Bottas, and so I don't know. I mean, I honestly didn't think it was going to make it. I wasn't worried about Hamilton. I was really worried about Bottas, but I think Bottas woke up too early and.
Yeah, that was strange because he closed him down by a few seconds in a very short time, and then he lost 2 seconds in the next 2 laps. So it was kind of weird.
I don't know. I think that they had. I don't know if in Mercedes they were worried about their tires too, because they gave the go get him when. They basically told him there are no more cars, to overtake.
Yeah,
in between, just go get him. So I think they were waiting, for Vettel to make some mistakes or to find, someone, with a blue flag, blah, 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 to catch him up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there is that. I'm not really sure about that. But, yeah, I mean, it's Bottas. So... it was worrying because at the end it was able to get him 3 seconds in 2 laps, but he just woke up too late, I think. So I was hoping that he was going to catch him early enough to make it interesting, but
As it got closer and closer, you could see that Vettel had enough left.
Well, yeah, I mean,
to not allow it to be an easy overtake anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I mean, there is also that part. You're right. I mean, once you got the guy, you got to overtake him. So those are two different things altogether. But no, I was really on the edge. If you think, I think that Vettel made 39 laps with the soft tires, and yesterday, I can't remember the name of the guy. The Pirelli guy, I can't remember for the sake of me. They were talking about that, with soft tires, you could do something like 32 laps.
Right.
So, and I mean, those are the guys which make the tires. So supposedly, if they gave you a number, it's a pretty good number, if you get what I mean.
I do, yeah.
But
and that's fair enough. I just think the tyre situation doesn't look good this year. They're already lasting too long. Anyway, but that's my opinion. I mean, if Vettel can still do lap times, because they didn't fall off the cliff, right? I mean, his lap times dropped by, a second, maybe, second and a half, possibly, in a bad lap. But that's not enough. That's not enough to make a difference, especially as you need to go like 2 seconds a lap faster, probably to even to be able to overtake.
They were waiting for the cliff to come with the tires.
I think so, and I think that was their mistake. Yeah.
I think that. I think that what happened, you can trace it back to what happened with Kimi, in my opinion, still, because when Kimi got in, and the accident happened, they closed the pit for about 2 laps in order, to have the medics go after, the guy which was injured. And I think that it was in that window that Vettel was supposed to go in and change the tires. And my opinion is that once that window closed, they started thinking about going all the way with those tires. And this is where they didn't push as much as they could, so that they could manage to save the tire a little bit longer, if you get what I mean, So I think it was something which started from there, and they, in my opinion, is they convinced themselves of a plan B, in Ferrari. They just made it on well, I wouldn't say on the spot, but say, you know what, we can probably make it if we don't push it too much. And it was a gamble, I got to say. It was a big gamble, but it paid off. So
I don't think they had a choice. I mean, once they realised that, Mercedes put the harder tyre on.
I mean, the choice would have been to get third, because if they changed the tires when it was, like 16 laps to the end, they would have got third place. Because Hamilton was, I think, 19 seconds, and they needed something like 24 seconds. So they were behind. So changing the tire was third, or we gamble and we might even get first. And they gambled. But again, it was a big gamble, because when you do that kind of things with the tires, you might end up with an exploding tire. So
for sure.
The gamble was big, but it paid big. So, yeah, I'm happy for that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, as I said, I'm a little disappointed that the tyres lasted that many laps over what they should have done, at least without falling off the cliff. I mean, that's the thing that we were led to believe with Pirelli tyres. So I'm a little disappointed about that. But there again, you get the tyres you get. It's the same for everybody. So you can't complain. It was just a bad race by Mercedes in that respect. That they could have done something about it, I think.
And also, I think, I see what you mean, and I kind of agree with you, but there is also the fact, in my opinion, that I'm not really sure that the tire didn't last as much as they thought it was going to last, or it was Vettel which was driving really well, because other teams had problems, and all the tires were changed in the appropriate window. So even what was that? I think the Sauber at the beginning they tried to went there with the white tires. Again, playing a gamble, and the timing were consistent with the prediction from Pirelli. So I think I don't want to sound too one-sided, but I think that there was a big part which was Vettel driving in a really proper way. So yeah, I want to believe that too. But
yeah, I would agree. It was, I guess, what you'd call
It is absolutely awe-inspiring, and I use those words advisedly.
yeah,
I guess. I don't know.
I guess, yeah, I'd say that.
That's what Murray would say anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, I mean, Vettel again, a good race, class race, showing he's a world champion. Lewis, disappointing that he had to start so far back. So he really hasn't had the rub this year, but there's plenty of time to turn that round. So that's all exciting for the future.
Yeah, I think that's one of the other things which I liked about the race. I think that I saw Mercedes was they were worried.
Yeah,
I think it was the first time I saw them that much worried, because even last year there were races where Ferrari was faster than Mercedes, but how can I say? I mean, last year it was a little bit different because, at least in my opinion, there were some races where Ferrari was faster, but they were almost faster by design because of the car they had, and they knew they had advantages on some tracks. But this time, I think there was something different. Mercedes had to react. They had to try to do things. Have you noticed? They pulled out the mechanics and they pulled them out inside again.
Yeah.
They were fishing for things. I mean, there was a proper tactical battle, and they were not in the usual position where they usually are.
Yeah. Yeah. I would go along with that. I mean, again, I'm disappointed by tires. But then when am I not disappointed by tires, especially this early? But I just think, Mercedes have had the tactics right on. They really responded well this race to what happened last race, and I think, they had the ability with Bottas to take Vettel. But
they totally did.
Unfortunately, I don't think, again, the tires let them down. I think this is going to be Ferrari's ace in the hole, is good tire usage. So we're in for a very long season if Ferrari can do a one-stop on a softer tire than Mercedes can.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Ferrari, they still have to catch up. They still have got to catch up. They still have got a small disadvantage overall towards Mercedes. But
I think that only depends on the circuit this year.
I'm talking about in the general scheme of the things.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
But,
I mean, we'll know next race, right? Because China is not a circuit which is
Oh, right. I mean, it's going to be difficult for Ferrari next race, right? But again, I don't want to repeat myself, but I think it's different from last year. Last year, the cars were so different that we knew that there were some tracks that, that car would be faster, that other car would have been. Now it's, those two victories, they didn't came because one car was faster by design. They were actually won, on the track. And there was another thing which really, not surprised me, but it just made me, I thought, oh, that's interesting. Would they let Hamilton out to try to stop a bit Vettel? So they were, as I said, they were clearly putting their bet on Bottas. And that, I think, I thought it was, that's peculiar,
Well, I think it's the Mercedes ethic, to be honest. They don't have a number one driver the same way
Yeah,
Ferrari does.
yeah, but
I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure they won't disadvantage Hamilton, right? Just to put Vettel, just to put Bottas in the lead or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they sacrificed him a little bit, you know.
I think they tried to use it. Yeah, they tried to use him to threaten Vettel with, possibly trying to force him to stay out, right?
Yeah.
Which is what he had to do in the end. So again, I think the Mercedes tactics worked really well. The only problem was that the tires didn't do what they said on the box. So, and that's the normal thing for Pirelli. You know? So again, well done to Ferrari. Congratulations. It was a great win, I think. One which they shouldn't necessarily have had. But I am heartened that the cars were so close at a track like Bahrain, because it does mean we're going to have a closer season towards the end, I think.
Why do you say they shouldn't have?
Well, because the tires should be wearing out. We're at, the wear on this track, right? They put on the screen. There's 5 of 5. Okay, so that presumably is the highest wear that we're going to, one of the highest wear circuits of the year.
Well, but I mean, Hamilton tires wore out at the beginning, and it wasn't soft tires. So
yeah, absolutely. But my criticism here is that it's not against whether it's Hamilton or Vettel now. My criticism is against the tires and the circuit. If we're on one of the highest wearing circuits and we're not bringing the hardest tire, right, and the soft tire isn't wearing out, we've got a problem. That means the tires are not matched to the circuits again this year, like we've been promised year after year.
I mean, I see what you mean. I kind of disagree on that fact, because I mean, I don't think that I mean, you would have a point, in my opinion. I mean, you have a point regardless, but you'd be a stronger point if all the tires behaved like that. But it seemed to be that only the tires on Vettel car managed to last that long. So I'm more inclined, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm more inclined to think that, the reason why they lasted that much is because the way that Vettel managed, to drive with the tires that he had, knowing that he had to push them way longer than they were supposed to be running.
Yeah. But that may be the case. Again, I was disappointed to see that we weren't at the highest levels of tire, simply because it means that Pirelli realised that the soft tires versus the medium tires, they're not going to wear out on a circuit like Bahrain. And if they're not going to wear out on a circuit like Bahrain, then then they're not going to wear out on any circuit, which kind of means this year we're only ever really going to get 1 stops, occasional 2 stops, and certainly no 3 stops. So that's really disappointing. But that's the only negative I could really draw, apart from the pit stops. That's the only negative of the race, I think. And I guess I don't mind that too much, because it's nothing new. It happens every year, and we don't get the tires that we want. Certainly not like it was in the 80s, where you could stick a pair of tires on halfway through the race, and new tires, and go 3 seconds a lap faster.
So talking about pit stop, do you want to address a little bit the fact what happened with Kimi?
Yes.
Because okay, so I'll just recap quickly. I'm sure you know the way it works. I mean, before there used to be a guy with a lollipop, and it was looking for the guys. Change the tire, raise the lollipop, and the guy raced on. Now they got a green light, which supposedly it turns green once the 4 pistols have made a complete cycle. And by complete cycle, I mean the pistol goes in, it unscrews the nut. The nut is retained in the, well, actually no, with Ferrari the nut is in the rim. So they unscrew the nut, they put a new tire, they reverse the position on the pistol, and they screw the nut back in. At that moment, when the pistol comes off, there is a sensor which, when all the 4 pistols have gone through that cycle, the green light turns green. And the pilot knows that all the 4 tires have been on and screwed in. The funny thing which happened is that they had problems changing the rear left tire. It never came off. And regardless, the green light was on. You can see from the cockpit camera that, you know, Kimi did nothing wrong. You know, it was there, green light, and he goes.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what the fuck happened.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed to me that the actual wheel didn't release in the first place, so the guy must have put the gun in, screwed. I tried to unscrew it. Right, the nut didn't come off, but obviously he pulled the gun back out to try and put it back in again.
Yeah,
but by the time he had done that, everybody had finished their other tires, and when he pulled the gun out, it looked like he'd finished, but of course he hadn't even. He was going to stick it straight back in again. So
yeah, but the thing is that the sensor on the pistol should not have allowed green light to turn green.
Yeah, I mean, that's I know that may be technically the case, but
yeah, there was something wrong going on. I mean, they got to figure out something, and there were talks. I mean, they interviewed Jacques Villeneuve too. I mean, and some other commentators. You know, they said, you know, I mean, the whole operation is extremely dangerous, and I mean, and I kind of agree with them. You know, you could have the tire change with only one person, or even having slow tire change. But you know, as long as it's slow for everybody, it doesn't really change anything. You know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, let me put it this way: I can't appreciate. I mean, they changed tire in 3.8 seconds or in 3.4 seconds. Can you really appreciate the difference? It's kind of, you know.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. And then maybe there should be something looked at for that. But minimum stops time, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Yeah. So
it seems to me the riskiest part of the whole Grand Prix. The whole Grand Prix is the pit stop. So you know, there you go.
Yeah, but you see, the thing which is really, to me, it's really bizarre is that they put the halo on. You know, they made that big fuss about something which, if you look about in 20 years, that kind of protection would not have saved anybody. Okay, but they put the halo on anyway, and they keep that, you know, that procedure which is really dangerous in place. So. I mean, the new Liberty things, I think it's so bizarre in some ways. And I think it was reflected. Have you read the papers that they released about, you know, what they want to do in the future for the cars?
I did, yes.
Yeah. And what do you think of that?
Well, I mean, it's more of the dreaming that we've had before. It's nothing new, you know.
Right.
If they can force it through, then fair enough. But that's never happened in the past, and for good reasons.
Yeah, I mean, the part which really amused me was the part where they wrote something on the line about they will try to standardize everything which the fan cannot understand to be related to the performance of the car, stuff like that, you know, in some weird way. And I mean, I've been following F1 for 25 plus years, okay, 30 years. I probably understand 15% of the car, you know?
Yeah.
So
if that, right? If that. And
if that, right.
And that's what makes it so amazing to us, is that we don't understand it. So we know we've got a season of trying to understand it.
Right. So I really have no fucking idea what they meant with what they wrote, and I don't even know if they know what they meant when they wrote that.
I would agree.
It was. Anyway, sorry about the. I just reminded. I want to talk to you about.
Seeds of euphoria.
Which is what we've got, basically.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Okay. So, any last words you'd like to say, up, and we'll wrap it up here.
No, I mean, not really. It was happy for Gasly. I hope Richard is gonna go back and have a nice races. Oh, I found there was one thing that Gasly said at the end. He said, "Now we have a chance. We have a fighting chance." Something like that. He said.
Yeah. Bless his little heart. Bless his little cotton socks.
I know, but the funny thing is that I think that was the very same thing that Alonso said. You know, you remember that? Now the guy
Oh
said
yeah,
that.
yeah. Now we can race.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, I'm happy because again, it's kind of another Italian team, Toro Rosso. It's the old Minardi. So yeah, was really happy.
Indeed, and I am too, because I really want to see Honda succeed.
Right. I mean, keep in mind that if everything goes according to plan, in 2019, Honda will go in Red Bull.
Yes, if everything goes to plan.
Yeah, if everything goes to plan. Now, I was think about if Verstappen wins his first title with an Honda engine. Because, I mean, I feel sorry for Alonso. Alonso seems to be that he's making all the wrong choices all the fucking time. And I think it's really bad luck, but still, that's the case. So I think the guy's going to shoot himself in the face.
Yeah, it is weird. It is weird as to how that car managed to maintain that pace throughout the race. But again, I think we need more races on the tyres to understand what the tyres are doing for the cars yet. So I'm going to withhold judgment as to whether that's a genuine result or.
Yeah, I mean, also keep in mind. Yeah, I think they were on their second power unit, and it's 2 races. So
yeah, and if they turned it up, so next race they're on their third.
Yeah,
then it doesn't count for so much. But nonetheless, they've got the success now. Mm-hmm. That's what the game's about. So good luck to them.
Yeah, good for them.
Indeed. Okie doke.
Okay, next race is China. What is that?
Yeah, China next year, and next week. Sorry, it is next year as well, but basically next year. And there we go. Mm-hmm. I guess let's just do one of these.
I think you're absolutely wrong, Mary. It's not. You're right.
So yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Fabio, any last words?
No. I mean, I hope we're gonna have an interesting race as this one. I actually enjoyed it. It was really funny. Technical, okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry. No. One last thing I got to say. Yeah. We got to give credit to Hamilton. He made an amazing overtaking 3 cars. I don't know how we forgot about that. That was fucking brilliant. I mean, okay,
they were back markers, and it was down straight with the DRS.
Yeah, I grant you. But still, I mean, 3 cars in one shot, it's pretty impressive, even if they were, parked on the side of the road. So,
yeah. Considering he had to use part of last year's circuit as well. So,
yes.
That's not so bad.
Yes.
But there you go. Never mind. So thank you, everybody.
Apparently, they told him that if you go through the pit lane, you're faster. So he did that too. So, yeah,
he should have done it. He should have just gone through the pit lane every fucking lap, and I think he would have
done it last race. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. One last WAV file, and off we go. So, scenes of euphoria.
Seeds of euphoria.
And that means that we'll see everybody next week. And take care. Thank you so much.
Ciao, ciao.